fun thing that we all should know. I know last time our show went a little long, and it's because I wasn't timing anybody. I kind of just like trusted them to like do things. However, this show will be timed because in our group meet the other day, I threatened them with death if they went over 6 minutes. And the problem was that we're all so fucked up that I threatened them with death, and they threatened to make their sets longer. So then what I decided to do was I was like, okay, well, if that's what you guys are gonna do, then if you guys go more than 6 minutes, I'm just gonna make sure, I will personally guarantee that you will live to 120 years old. And now I don't think I have to time anyone, so that's really cool. I don't know if any of you were at the improv show last night, but I hosted, and I was so embarrassed that I went home, and the person who usually hosts, Ben, I taped a note to his door, and I said, please don't ever make me do that ever again. Because I was up here and I did something that I thought was embarrassing. You know when you do something that you're like, oh, that's a little embarrassing, but I'm sure no one else noticed it, and then you sit there and it like really ruminates in your mind. It ferments, if you will. So while you all were like sitting here focusing on this, I was behind the audio booth going, oh my god, I can't ever show my face up there again. And I just like misspoke. It was I know, thank you. This isn't supposed to make you feel bad for me. I thought that would be funny. But kind of along those lines, so how's school going for everybody? Yeah, I'm also thinking of dropping out. I've been really thinking a lot about becoming a lighthouse keeper lately. That's kind of related, kind of not related. I think it's like a little bit of a shitty thing that when you tour Mizzou, one of the first things they tell you is that Brad Pitt went here, but didn't graduate. He dropped out like a week before graduation and then became Brad Pitt. And that's the first thing they tell you. And that's really, resonated with me lately in the sense that I've been thinking about it every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day of my last semester of senior year. So my week's been pretty bad. I got some really bad news this week. I'm gonna get really personal with you guys. So I actually got diagnosed with PTSD recently. Please don't feel bad for me. That's not where this is supposed to be. So I kind of just like, since I got that diagnosis, it's really not made me feel any different except for the fact that now I know that I have this thing, and I kind of want to make it like everybody else's problem, that I just had like a fucked up childhood. If you couldn't already tell that by the fact that I do this for, fun. And so the thing that I did after I learned this news, which by the way happened to me as a surprise. I was surprised to be diagnosed this way because I was just in therapy and I was like, oh, I'm gonna tell him about like this other thing that like happened to me. And he's like, have you ever been like screened like for PTSD? And I was like, okay, this is a fun thing. So that happened to me, and then I could do nothing but kind of sit in my room and be like, that was weird. And then I went to Chipotle. And I went to Chipotle because that's the one place where I sit. It's like that and Noodles & Company where I do this freaky thing where I just kind of go and eat like by myself when I really just have to think about something. So I went to Chipotle and I was like standing there in line and I was thinking about it. And I was like, I know that like this whole diagnosis thing doesn't make me look physically different. Like no one knows that I have it except like me within my head, within my own mind. But I feel like the second that they diagnose you with something that's like fucked up enough, you should like get a badge or something. Like, because like my thing is like, I was kind of like sitting there and I was like thinking, in my head as I do. And I was like, do you know what would be like kind of funny, like kind of cool? If I went up to, Chipotle, I got all my stuff and then I like got to the cash register and they're like, oh, how are you gonna pay today? And I was like, oh, wait, let me give you something. Hand them my PTSD badge, and then I just get free guacamole for having a fucked up childhood. I think that's kind of fun. So, as you can probably tell, I've been taking a lot of L's recently. This is just kind of my time to air that all out. Please don't feel bad for me. This is just my only time where I can vent. And I think it's mostly because that school started, and it kind of put me in this situation where I interact with a lot of people that I don't normally interact with. and that's just kind of like a recipe for disaster. And so I was really mad about that, and I just kept complaining about it, and like every time someone asked me, I'd be like, how's school going? I'd be like, oh my god, it's so bad, I have to like, go to class, what the fuck is that about? And I would just keep talking about it. And so finally, the universe was like, please shut the fuck up. And I know that the universe was tired of me complaining because I tested positive for COVID for the second time. Love that for me. And so it was just like, you know what, you don't ever want to see anybody, you don't want to interact with anybody? Let's make you not do that. So can I get a round of applause for me not having COVID anymore, please? Thank you. So we have a great show for you tonight. I know that was kind of a depressing opening. I honestly thought that would come off a lot better, but that's okay. We're keep moving on. So it's got a great list of comedians for you.